My friends, hello. You might notice I'm sounding a little bit different, and that's because we are on a brand new setup. We're back here for some more pointless challenges. We got ourselves a new computer, got ourselves a better microphone so that we could put out higher quality videos, among other things. But yeah, so let's go ahead and jump back into where we were before, which has been almost a month. So apologize for the long gap, but let's jump back into it. We're now at 70 dupes. We've got plenty of problems still going on here, and a couple of them that have been challenges pretty much this whole time are oxygen and food. So, yeah, we're trying to solve both of those at the same time here. So I've got some more food coming up, gonna start ranching some more Drecos. Should be okay on that. Checking on the oxygen area. Oxygen is looking better. It's getting there. We're not quite ready yet. One thing we do need is we need to cool down this oxygen before we're able to start pumping it out. So I have lines that are running ice up here. This is not the greatest way to do this. I probably should have been running this by hand rather than with shipping. But yeah, this is what we're doing right now, and I guess I'm just going to stick with it. The reason that it's not very good is because it loses so much heat, or I guess not heat, loses coolness by the time it gets there, so definitely not something that's super great, but uh-oh, we got some suffocating people. Looks like we're good. Logan, stop it! Come on, get up here. Jeez. People are like, oh, where should I go for oxygen? To the place that has no oxygen? How about that? Come on, Logan. Don't let me down. Alright, you'll be good. So yeah, we're back. We're just going to be playing through, looking at what's changed. Not a whole lot has changed since the last video. We do have our cooling setup up here, but we don't have a lot of power generation happening, so there's only one aqua tuner that I've turned on right now. And the rest of this is just getting our oxygen up, but we need to be able to cool it first. So I started off with some pretty hot water here because that's all I really had access to in order to start cooling that down. So once we get enough ice up here and once we get everything else up and running, we should be pretty good. So yeah, just going to keep on going on that trajectory. I don't know why. Constantly having to build tiles here. I could have sworn those were already there. Now I need to go back. Oh, I have this marked for deconstruct. Why? What am I doing? Man, I'm really messing up on this on this comeback here. I don't need to actually deconstruct all this. Let's go ahead and cancel that. I meant to put food down like so. There we go. Much more intelligent way to do this. Once this gets closed off, I'll start ranching more Drecos here. That will hurt our food for a little bit, but I think we'll be okay in the meantime. Of course, we are taking every single dupe that we come across, so yeah, that count will just continue to grow, which means we have to handle the oxygen needs and we have to handle the food needs for each one of those, so we gotta stay on top of that. Yeah, I'm trying to keep an eye on this area a little bit too. There is a lot of idling happening here, and that's okay, just because my dupes are stuck in there. We're gonna get a lot of idling, but I want to make sure that I understand how much they can actually put out at one time, because it's not a tremendous amount, obviously. I think all these is probably like 3 petroleum generators maybe, so not a ton. I guess there's some up here too, but I guess we'll have to just see how that grows and what kind of power we can get off of there. But yeah, so I do need to I don't know why I did this. I'm just a silly person. I don't know why I did this, but I don't really want to do this way anymore. But I don't really have a choice. I think it was because I just wanted to totally seal this and have ice continually fed here as it got heated up, but this was such a slow idea. I probably should have just used this water instead, but I don't know why I chose to do it the other way. Maybe just to see how viable any of this ice was from down here, but it's just not that good. I think I'm also out of ice too, so I need to reload this. Well, we went with a solution. It's not really working, so what do you do in that case? You obviously keep going with that solution, so let's try this. This is also marked for sweep. I should have some more ice over here. Okay, yeah. I'm also trying to catch up to where I was before, because there's a bunch of stuff that I don't really remember all that well. So yeah, let's get back on that, I suppose. Another person suffocating. What's happening here? Oh, these guys are legitimately suffocating. This is not good at all. Let's see. How do we get you out of here? What are you guys doing? I think if we do something like this, let me dig this out, and they should be able to jump down there and then down here. I don't know if they can jump from left to right. Maybe if I destroy this? Let's try that. That at least got one out. Now I need to prioritize this one really heavily. Camille, what are you... Oh, you guys, you're so dumb. Someone, please build them out of here. This is so bad. Hurry, Kendra. Okay, let's go. Get out. No. Oh. Why? Why must you do this? Camille, get out of there. Okay, jeez. Now get up to a place where you can breathe, you big dummy. And run, 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 run. I think she'll make it. Okay, close call. That's what you get when you're digging out a whole big area here. You get a bunch of dupes that just build themselves in corners, and they're not very smart, so... yeah. Okay, we need to stay focused on what we are working on. We are working on getting ice up here, which is now coming up, and that's pretty good, I guess. It's not spectacular. Someone else is suffocating once again. I did not mean to click on this, but we apparently got Royal Flush. We got an achievement for building toilets. That's how we do it. Alright. Probably going to get some suffocation warnings here for a little bit, only because they're deep down in the ice caves, so that'll definitely be a thing for a little bit. Hopefully nobody dies, and like we said, if anybody dies, then the run's pretty much over, so I should probably not be so callous about this, but you know what? When you take this long of a break, you got to take chances. That's apparently what's going on here, because we got a lot of people that are in kind of bad shape, so... we'll have to send some of them up to places where they can actually breathe. What are you doing? Oh, he's got breath. He's just heading back down. Okay. Who's suffocating now? Tucker. Yeah, once we get ice in there, we should be fine. Okay. I'm also tempted to kind of turn these on early because, the temperature here is almost the same as the water already, so is that really that bad? I honestly say this because I don't know. Yeah, I'm tempted just to turn this on now because the temperature over here is already pretty high and probably about as hot as this water. So I think if I just turn this on and warm it or cool it or whatever to the temperature that is right now, which is like 100, at least I'll have another source up. So that's not that bad. Let's go ahead and do that. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. And then we have a switch here that's just going to turn everything on. So that ought to solve it, I think. Do have a little bit of an oxygen bastion down here. And we are pumping water from this cool slush geyser. I don't remember in the last video if we actually were or not. Did watch a little bit to catch up, but... yeah. Memory's hard. Okay. Let's go ahead and prioritize this to be pretty high. And then I'll turn this on and we'll get our first renewable oxygen running. This also means that I'm going to be consuming a lot more water. So I need to find other water sources. And speaking of which, we should check the areas down here to see what's down here, because we do need to get deeper in here, and we need to see what these are. So let's go ahead and prioritize... oh, we've already seen these before. Let's see what these are. I don't know which is which, so that's a cool slush geyser. We definitely want to get to that. New printables? There we go. Definitely don't care about either of these, so we've got ourselves a new miner. Randomize his name, Bailey. Kind of boring compared to a lot of others, but we'll take it. Print. Yeah, let's check out the other geysers down here, because I know I looked at them before, but I don't really remember because I've been gone for so long. This one is a steam vent. Nothing that's going to be useful for us. I guess we'll get a little bit of water out of that, so that's fine, I suppose. Let's check this out. Water geyser. That's not bad. Okay, there's water down here. We're definitely actually pretty close to it too. I just need to find a way to get more oxygen in here so we can push all this carbon dioxide down. There's so much. And if I'm having dupes travel this far along the map just to go get, or start to build something, that's going to be so slow. Somebody did also tell me, and I did have this thought as well, and that is to use suits just to help my dupes get down there into a breathable area, but I just don't know if I have the power to push those suits, and I definitely don't have the oxygen surplus to load up the suits for the first time, so I don't know. I don't have a great idea for that. Kendra, why? What are you doing? How are we going to get you out of this? This is awful. I guess if I just deconstruct that, you should be fine. Hurry up and do this. Do you not, like, dig yourself out? Like, is this person not gonna mine at all? Alright, whatever. Let's get rid of this yellow alert. Whoops. There we go. Yeah, so we have water down there. We will need to start harvesting it sooner or later, so we'll have to get down there in just a bit. Now that this is almost on, or almost closed, I can go ahead and turn this on. That ought to give us some renewable oxygen. This is falling decently. I don't know, maybe I'm just getting impatient. There is ice in here that is melting. This will eventually cool down. I don't know. Let's just leave it running. I guess we need to go down there anyway to get to the other geysers, so shipping the ice up is not the worst, I suppose. But it's just not as good as I thought it was going to be, so kind of struggling a little bit. Dupes in here chilling and running. Yeah, I'm also trying to do this for myself just to get back into the swing of things a little bit and understand where I was before. Is this closed off? No. And I'm trying to remember everything that was happening and try to remember how I was going to transition this into later parts of the game, but definitely like worrying about oxygen, water, food, that kind of stuff. Obviously power, but we're only going to be producing manual power, which I actually forgot to do. These are our challenges, by the way, so if you happen to be watching one of these videos for the first time, and this is the first one you see, we have to obey these challenges right here, and that is take every single dupe from a print that we get until we have 100, only produce manual power, and produce every food type eventually. So we will need to do all those things in order to consider a win. I will stop at 100 dupes. That ought to put us a little bit around cycle 300, considering you get a new one every 3 days and you start with 3. So, what, like a little bit after 300, we should be at our full population. So, yeah, we're 2/3 of the way to a full population. And note, with my new computer and my new setup, it's handling this actually much better than I thought. I guess you don't realize how old and outdated some of your stuff is until you get something new and you do the same thing you were doing before and you're like, whoa, this is way better. But yeah, we're looking pretty good. All this water, by the way, is from melted ice. This is just not a good idea to ship it this far. And yeah, so if you look at along the lines, this is actually really funny. If you look at the temperature overlay, you can say it stays really blue like the whole time, all the way up until about here, and this is where a lot of the ice melts in this area. You can even see the air here is minus 41, or sorry, the tile is. But yeah, getting really, really cold. I should have ran this probably all the way through insulated tile if I was being a smart person, but I'm not. In order to keep the temperature as much as possible, but once this eventually stabilizes, we won't need as many ice shipments, and I can probably fix that by then. I don't know. Let me just add another challenge for myself. Why don't we just make the game harder because we're too stubborn to do something that works better? That sounds like a good plan to me. Okay, let's go ahead and start this up. Should be good to go. Let's produce ourselves some oxygen and hydrogen and all that fun stuff. And the hydrogen, of course, we can't use. So if we get any hydrogen here, I'm showing you where this is going. Some of it's going to go into this area, which, does that actually work? No, this is wired wrong, I think. I need to have that all sent in one direction. So I think what I need to do is probably something like this. And then rebuild, because I'm not planning on using this pump anymore. Because there's just a vacuum in here, so that doesn't matter. Let me notice my bugs right as I'm trying to show off the system that I'm building. But anyway, the hydrogen that we scoop up is just going to get sent into this pipe, which just all gets blown into outer space. So we're not allowed to use the hydrogen, which is pretty painful from one of these setups. So that means we're not generating any extra electricity from this whole setup at all, which means this is going to be a huge power waste over time. So yeah, that's pretty rough. Oh, I just scratched my beard. I don't know. I don't know if that's going to get picked up by my new mic or not. I'm clearly getting more comfortable if I'm just like scratching myself in the middle of a video, but yeah, there you go. Okay. So we have oxygen flowing here. I need to dial these in. I always forget the exact pressure number that it needs to be, and I usually just mess it up and have to do it again. What I want to do is I want to make sure that this is being used as much as possible. If it overpressurizes, it can't produce anymore, so that's something I definitely want to avoid. We do have plenty of water flow here, but this max gas pressure is definitely a problem. And it'll eventually balance out here. Maybe I need to turn this down a little bit. Let's turn this down to like 400. I don't know how much this is actually going to bring down the pipe, but it is a decent amount. Is that enough? Yeah. Mostly. Mostly. Just want to keep this as clear as I can. So we're not getting this thing stuck. I need to make this a little bit taller, too. I don't know why I always mess this up whenever I set this up, but, you know, we're just going to roll with that. Whatever. We can make more. We can always make more. Alright. So, we've kind of entered the game here. I always say this in some of my videos where you enter a point in like the mid-game where there's not a whole lot of action happening, and we're kind of in that state right now. Things are going to really start to slow down. It's mostly because your base gets really spread out by this point. So like the amount of area that I'm covering to do my different jobs is really wide. So I have like stuff going on here. I have some stuff going on here, or at least I did. I have some stuff happening down here. It's all like as far as it can possibly get. It's especially slow because of all this carbon dioxide, but hopefully we can overpressurize this and start getting more of these oxygen setups up. Actually, now that I have a second one here, should we just turn this on? Yeah, let's turn it on. Although I don't even know if this is actually going somewhere. This is probably a dumb idea. It's not. So, yeah, that was a great idea right there. I think I'll need to wait a little bit longer because I don't want to heat up my base too much. Because of all this meal wood, I cannot afford to have it get any warmer in here, and I definitely can only produce warm oxygen right now, so not the greatest of ideas, but we should be okay. So let's go ahead and continue to bulk up our ranching. So let's go ahead and set this up. Do just copy paste, but I am just putting Drecos in here. Let me check to make sure this is the right population for this. Yeah, roughly. No debuffs or anything like that. We're good. Also, a lot of people ask about the scales on this, like the reed fibers and the plastic and stuff that you can produce. I actually just produce it all in one central location over here, so that when something becomes an adult, I'll shear it and then I'll kill it. I find this is a little bit more efficient than trying to build different terrariums in places like this and having to manage multiple gases. So that way I can just leave it this way. Maybe it's just a lazy option, I don't know. But I also don't like big blockades in my ventilation as well either. And especially with this many dupes, I think it's probably a good idea. So, I don't know. This has always served me pretty well. If we check out our industrial ingredients, manufactured materials is what we want to look for plastic. It's okay. It's not great, but it's also not bad. Definitely some pretty cheap plastic at that. So, yeah, I don't know. We're looking okay. And we're also getting a decent amount of meat and stuff like that from this little ranching area. I might continue to increase this because the temperature that you need for ranching is much, much more like wide than it is for any food growth. And ultimately ranching is going to be your final food source anyway. I don't remember if I've talked about this, but let's talk about it again. That is, I think the next step after getting all my oxygen up and getting more water sources captured, I think it's just getting up into space. And namely because our final food source is going to be shovelvoles. It's just because shovelvoles produce a hilarious amount of meat when they die. And that's going to be something that's going to sustain me for a little while I get the rest of my setups all stabilized and before I run out of dirt. So speaking of which, I haven't done a resource check. Let's check and see how we're doing with our vital resources. So algae's not great. Cultivable soil, let's check out our dirt. That's pretty good. That'll last for a while. But yeah, this is really just a game of math at some point. And eventually you will run out of something that you need to survive. So we need to get on renewable stuff. And that's what part of this is for. So how low are we now? 90s, 100 in the middle. Yeah, we're doing okay. I guess the oxygen that comes out is what's important. It's coming out at, show me something, 96. So that's okay, but it's probably just as hot as the surrounding area anyway. So yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about that. Let's focus on how we're going to get more water. And again, I think I have extra pumps here, by the way. This is more pumps than I had before. But I really do need to capture something down here. Something here and something here. 2 different water sources that I can start shipping water up and introducing into my network. Oh, I don't think I actually talked about my water network that much either. It's going to be all these. I don't actually have anything sitting out because I don't want to spend the extra power to repump it. So I have a bunch of different setups. I think what I did is I have salt water going in here, polluted water going in here. This is clean water, and this may have germs in it, and I think that this is clean water that does not have germs, but I don't know if I have... Oh, I think I forgot about something. What I was gonna do... Oh, I'm excited about this. This is something I have not done before. Anyway, water system. Yes, it's there. All right, we closed that thread. Let's talk about germs in water. So what I've talked about before are basically setups to heat up your water in order to kill germs. I'm going to do the opposite of that in this run. This run, I am actually going to maintain a contained water loop for my bathrooms, which I have here, which is a good idea. I mean, there's no reason not to. It definitely makes killing germs a lot cheaper. But when I need to kill germs, I need to have some kind of overflow because this will produce more water than it will consume over time. So the stuff that runs off, I'm actually going to send it to a special place, and that is into my cooling tank. And this is going to be something I'm very intrigued by because cold water, once it gets cold enough, you can see how germy this water is in here right now. This water doesn't actually matter if it's germy, so it's fine for it to be in here, but the point is that if I get it cold enough, all the germs are going to die. So we will have germ-free polluted water in here. And then as soon as I get too much, I'll just go ahead and pump it back out. So that's my plan for handling germs in water, which is not something I've done before. I'm curious to see how well this works out and to see if this is worth repeating. Even to the point where I recommend this to be the best germ-killing method because you're already going to be cooling water. The amount of germs that come in here is going to be insane, but the amount of warm water you're introducing to the system is actually not that much. So, I don't know. Let's give that a try. Also, I think I have more bathrooms. Yeah, I have more bathrooms up here. Again, it's been so long I don't remember if these were up in my last video, but everything is plumbed now, which means that we are gaining water just from our dupes existing. And I don't mean from just the throwing up trait. I mean from the, the stress reaction of throwing up, which I totally have. It sucks, by the way. But from them just eating food and producing water from that food. So in a roundabout way, we're basically feeding dirt to our plants, and then we are turning that dirt into water. So very roundabout way, dupes are definitely a water source in some way or another, so feeling pretty good about that. Okay, where do we stand? Where do we need to go next? What do we need to do next? I think we need to start getting this water cold enough so that we can... I mean, we've obviously already been worrying about that. I'm hoping that by 80 dupes that will be cold enough to the point that I can start pumping it out into the rest of my base. Which, we need to check on our older oxygen sources. I haven't done that for a little while. We have them here. They are not filling anything up. We should probably do that just in case. Let's go ahead and just drop these. Is one supposed to be there? Yeah, I think so. Actually, I don't think that was there before, but I don't know why it wasn't. Well, if we die horribly and if it's because of one box, then it's clearly my fault. Let's go ahead and replace the ones that are down here too. Water-wise, I'm surprised. We have more water than I thought stored up here. So I've been storing up this water for just a little while, but I thought it would be less than this. I have a ton. And I know a ton is a bad word to say because it means weight. And I don't mean that. I mean, or I guess quantity? Well, no. A ton is like 1,000 kilograms. So it could be of anything, right? I don't know. Anyway, there is a lot of water. By the way, I'm going to go ahead and out myself for what I just said. There was somebody leaving comments on videos before that was like, no, don't do your videos in Fahrenheit, and calling them freedom units, and yeah, our country has a lot of problems, okay? And here I am being like, wait, isn't a ton this thing? Like, isn't it, you know, something else? Like, I'm totally exposing myself for the lack of our metric system knowledge, but we somehow managed to exist without it, so yeah. I don't know. All things considered, I feel like we're in a pretty good spot. Like, I don't have any big worries right now. I need to start on new projects. I need to start getting more of these up. And I need to find a solution for pushing enough of this out. Another thing to do, I haven't actually done the math on this. Let's figure out how much carbon dioxide we're actually going to produce and see if we have enough pumps to deal with it. So I have not thought about this, and that's because I'm pretty sure we're fine. So each one of these produces about 2 grams of carbon dioxide per second, which times that by 100, that's 200 grams of carbon dioxide per second. We are not getting any extra carbon dioxide from power or anything like that, so that's fine. What is coming into here? Polluted water. Why are we overflowing? I don't understand what's happening. So 200 grams of carbon dioxide, yeah, we should be fine. These can both pump out enough, but the question is if I'm going to get enough pressure to actually push it down there. So this will be an interesting experiment. I've never had to ventilate a base for this many dupes before, so we'll have to see how that scales over time, because I legitimately have no idea. Man, this digging effort is going really slow. I did debate, maybe this is a case for it. I just made a video recently on shipping, and maybe this is the perfect case for why using auto miners or robo miners is a good idea, because this could cover a huge area that I wouldn't have to worry about. It can't dig through abyssalite. Maybe I should just do this, because that would probably be more efficient than otherwise. It'll dig out a huge hole, and then I can just have my dupes run it back there. Let's just do this instead. This is one of the rare times, and I guess this makes total sense. Basically, if you have a mining job that needs to be done in a place like this... Is there any granite or something in here that it won't be able to dig through? Let me find out. No, it's all soft. Okay. So this will be the first real legitimate time where I'm like, wow, this robo miner is definitely better for this mining job than other dupes are, and that's because dupes just do a crappy job when they're down here by themselves. But the robo miner doesn't care, so... Yeah, that's... I don't know why I'm not doing this. So let's go ahead and do construction, set this up, and there we go. Okay, cool. Well, that'll at least save us some work time. Normally I see the robo miners for something... Like if I wanted to mine this out, for example. Like if you look at the types of things that it would have to mine out, a lot of this is pretty good, but once you hit the abyssalite, it can't mine through it anyway. So my thought is always like... What's the point if it can't do the whole job? Maybe that's just a bad attitude to have about it. I don't know. Okie dokie. A little bit of a rocky video. We're getting back into the swing of things, and I did just produce my power tutorial, so I'm going to go ahead and call that good, now that the progress has kind of slowed down a little bit. Oh, let's get our last dupe, and then we'll go ahead and call it good. Who do we want here? Oh man, these are both not great. I don't mind flatulent dupes, by the way. I've heard a lot of people say things like, you shouldn't ever get flatulent dupes, and I understand kind of the reasoning why. It's like, if you ever have a room that needs to be filled with a certain gas, then you shouldn't do it. But most of the time when you have a room that's filled with certain gas, they're going to be wearing suits in there anyway, and they shouldn't be causing a problem. So I don't know if I fully understand the reasoning behind there. So if you have an opinion on that, let me know. With that being said, I'm going to get the anemic one, even though they're really bad. I'm just going to make this one a battery because I don't want them to be doing jobs down in the carbon dioxide and get stuck and die down there. It's definitely something that can happen. That's one of the worst downsides of this. But if they're trapped and they're just going to be producing power for me anyway, then I don't really mind. The athletics difference is going to eventually be made up by them moving around enough, so let's just go ahead and... Oh, we need a name. Random. Seldomer the Ugly. Oh, yeah. Oh, no! Let's alter their name by 2 letters. So we can fit the colon and the space. Seldmer is ugly. How about that? Okay. So yeah, I'm going to confine them to a certain place and make it so that they cannot leave, which is what I'm doing on all these batteries. But if I leave them in, they pose no real risk for suffocating. Are these alphabetized? Why can't I find this? I don't know why I can't find that dupe I just printed in here, but this is not great. Here we go. Why did they get put here? Also, the text running over here is pretty lols. Alright, Mr. Seldomer. Where'd you go? Well, I guess if I do this, they'll automatically get attracted to that Why am I having such a hard time closing this video out? All right, this is Rocky, guys. I apologize. Okay, Seldmer, get over here. You are banished. You will be stuck in this location forever. Who's suffocating? Miner. Okay, you'll be fine. All right. Well, now I don't know. Okay, you found oxygen. Okay, guys. Now we're actually at about the time limit. We just hit 30 minutes, which is what I want to keep these videos to. So let's go ahead and call that good. In the meantime, just for you guys that are wondering, my next video is going to be about ranching. My next tutorial video, that is. I don't know how many more of these pointless challenge videos I'm going to make before that, because the pointless challenge videos are definitely a lot more entertaining for myself to make, because I get to actually like play the game. So I don't know how many more of those I'm going to put out. But it will be at least one, I think. And then after that, I'm going to be doing a ranching tutorial, which will cover all about ranching, so that'll come up here pretty soon. If you guys have any suggestions for any future videos, please let me know. Almost all of my tutorials have been exclusively because someone has said, hey, talk about this. So if you want to know, then let me know. But in the meantime, I'll see you guys really soon for the next video, which will hopefully be in the next couple days or so. Yeah. We struggled the whole time. Let's struggle to close this out. I'll just go ahead and keep talking and totally cut myself off mid-sentence, because that's exactly what a